Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you some different methods that you can use to release fuel pressure. So let's go ahead and get started. Now you might be asking, what is the importance in being able to release fuel pressure? Well, anytime that you're doing any work to the fuel system, you're going to want to release the pressure. That way you're not having gasoline spraying out when you release the lines. Now, that would be in the case if you were going to be removing the fuel rail, maybe to do work on the fuel rail, to replace it, to replace your fuel injectors. You're going to want to release fuel pressure to do that. Another thing is if you're going to be dropping the gas tank, whether you're replacing that or if you're replacing the fuel pump assembly, whatever the case may be. If you're doing any work back there, you're going to also want to release fuel pressure with that. If you're doing your fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter, anything like that, you're going to want to release fuel pressure. That way you don't have that pressure spraying out. Also, if you're just going to be putting a gauge on there to get your fuel pressure to test the actual pressure, and you're connecting to your schrader valve, you're going to want to release fuel pressure before you connect to that as well. Otherwise, when you go to connect the actual gauge to it, you're going to get that pressure spraying out all over you. So that's why it's so important to release the fuel pressure. Now, there's a few ways to do that. One of the most common ways is by releasing it at the schrader valve. And the schrader valve is basically, it's a little valve that's on the fuel rail itself or around that fuel rail area. It looks kind of like a valve stem on a tire. And you basically just take a flathead screwdriver and you can press the center end. You want to make sure that you put either some paper towels or a cloth or rag or something to catch any fuel that does come out. But that's one of the most common ways as shown here. Coming along here, if we move this out of the way, there's our schrader valve right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that cap off. Just unscrew it. Put that off to the side. And this is pretty much what it looks like. So it looks kind of like the valve stem on a tire. So what we're going to do now is just put a rag underneath. So that way we don't have any stuff spraying all over the place. And then we'll just take a flathead screwdriver. And let's see if I can get a shot of it from up here. Here we go. And then we're just going to come in here, push that in. And as you saw, it does spray out a little bit, so make sure you're not right in the path of that, and it's not also a bad idea to put on some safety glasses before you do that. Another way that a lot of people use as well, now, if you're going to be doing work, and this is just in my opinion, if you're going to be doing work further down the fuel rail or even on the fuel rail itself, you can do it this way also, is by actually opening up your fuse box where your relays and fuses are, locating the actual relay for the fuel pump itself. And what you'll do then is you'll start the car. With the car running, you'll go ahead and remove that relay switch. That'll kill the power to the fuel pump, and then your fuel injectors and stuff will just kind of clear out the system. You'll release pressure that way, as shown here. Now to locate the fuel pump relay, we have our fuse box and relay box here. Go ahead and just pop this off, push this in, that'll come up. Then there's another clip here in the back, and it's actually marked by the little lock symbols on it. Let's pop that up. Now here on the underside of it, you have a diagram that lets you know what's the relay and fuse for what. So we're going to go ahead and look here and locate the one for the actual fuel pump itself. Now if we check here, we'll see that number 41 says F/pump, which is fuel pump. So that's 41, which is this relay right here. So now we have this little cap here. We're going to take that off, pop that off, get that out of the way. And this right here is number 41. So this is the fuel pump relay right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car. We're going to let it run. Then we're going to pop that out. Now, it's very important if you do use that method to please make sure that you put the relay switch back, because otherwise when you're done doing the work, the car's not going to start and you're going to wonder what happened. So just make sure when you remove it, when you're done doing with whatever you're doing on the fuel system, you put that back in the appropriate spot, and then prime your fuel pump a couple times to rebuild the pressure at that point. And now the last one, and it's not too common because not all vehicles have it, but some vehicles, as I'm going to show you soon, they have a schrader valve down between the actual fuel pump and the fuel filter, and you can release pressure down there as well. So what I've used that for is in cases where I'm doing work further down around the fuel pump, around the fuel filter, after I've released the fuel pressure from either the schrader valve or from the actual relay switch to the pump. I'll go to that valve as well, release it as well, because sometimes you'll find a little bit of pressure is still down at that end, and that clears it. That way when you're removing the actual fuel lines down around the actual fuel pump, you don't have anything spraying out. And here's how you would do that one. And then we're going to go ahead and push that schrader valve right there. Push it in to release any pressure. I was expecting more to spray out, but that was it. Just a little bit trickled out. Now, these are just a few of the methods that I use. I'm sure people will have questions or comments, so please send them in. I would love to hear from you. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I just want to do this quick video just kind of showing the different ways that you can release fuel pressure because of the importance of it. As just mentioned, send me any questions, comments. As always, I appreciate all the support, so please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.